we're going to be a bit more cheery now, I think. Let's talk about Christmas movies. How can we have a show on Christmas Eve without talking about Christmas movies? I've compiled my top 10. So it's my top 10. This is what I think are the best TV movies for Christmas ever. So I've put this together. We're going to go through them now in reverse order, and then I'm going to have a guest, which is Van Connor, who is a film critic. He might have an issue with some of these, and I welcome him and any of you actually to contend either for or against my list, really, if you think that my list is rubbish and should be surpassed by other introductions, so to speak, and other movies that are more worthy. Let me know. Call me 0344 499 1000. You can text talk to 87222, and of course Twitter is at talkTV and at Russell Quirk. So let's get into those movies. Hopefully we've got some graphics coming up that will demonstrate this wonderful, worthwhile list. We're going to start with number 10 first of all, which is Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not the best actor, not the best film, but in my opinion, funny. And actually my view is on these Christmas films that they have to have a kind of number of ingredients. And Van, I'll bring you in a second, if I may. And thanks for looking so festive, by the way. You look great. You look great. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I have other festivities this evening, so it's kind of lined up rather nicely. Annoyingly, the studio lights don't show the fact that this thing lights up, which irritates me, but still.
For those that can't see this, they're just listening, Van has got a Santa hat on and some very, very bright Christmassy, snowman-y Christmas tree jacket on. So really thanks for making the effort. So let me go through my 10 to 1, and then, Van, you can decide if you think that they're worthy contenders or not. So, yeah, Jingle All the Way. My criteria, by the way, is that I think these films for Christmas, they must have, he's saying no, a character that we identify with, obviously a bit of humour and or some action, a Christmas backdrop, but above all a bit of a message. And of course Jingle All the Way has that message that I think all parents can relate to, that run around the shops trying to find that last minute present that seems to have been sold out by everybody. So that's my number 10. Number 9, Trading Places. Now you could argue, like many of my list actually, that this is not necessarily a Christmas film, although it is set at about that time of year. But of course Trading Places is a wonderfully traditional film that's played at Christmas. Actually quite an analysis on society. You know, you've got these rich, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, even though the film's actually been out since the 1980s, but a pair of very, very rich brothers that cast an experiment on a couple of individuals that work for them. So a brilliant kind of feel-good comedy movie that I love. Number 8, probably the most contentious in the list, Die Hard. Now, many of you will say, perhaps Van will, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I think it is. It's set on Christmas Eve, so therefore it counts from my point of view. Number 7, there's no way you can say this isn't a Christmas movie. Elf, with the brilliant Will Ferrell, the most Christmassy of Christmas films. I will. Van's saying a big thumbs up there. Next, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Again, not a snowflake in sight, not a bit of tinsel, nothing. But as a kid, this is the film that I watched, as well as a few others like Wizard of Oz and so on, every Christmas. I'm still scared of the child catcher, by the way, and anyone that's seen that film will probably be with me on that. Number 5 is a bit of a curveball, Bad Santa. So Bad Santa is a comedy, but a bit of a kind of a countercultural film, really, because obviously Santa in it, the mall Santa, is a baddie. Number 4, and I know this is definitely the pick of some of the producers here from a conversation I had earlier on before I came on air, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Kind of the original slapstick Christmas kind of fast movie, really. Of course, with Chevy Chase. Number 3, and I've got a soft spot for this. This is probably the only film that can actually bring a tear to my eye, believe it or not. Love Actually. Brilliant film, brilliantly cast, fantastically written, very funny, brilliantly put together in my opinion. And then number 2, you probably won't be surprised to hear this, Home Alone 2, Escape to New York. And then number 1, therefore, again, you definitely won't be surprised to hear this, the original, the ultimate, the brilliant Macaulay Culkin film, Home Alone 1. Over to you, Van. What do you think?
I mean, I have issues with some of these. I mean, Trading Places, that it feels like a hipster call. I'm not going to lie. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang feels like a nostalgia call, because ain't nobody really putting Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on the
but isn't that what Christmas is about? Christmas is about nostalgia, right?
I mean, otherwise, Die Hard, for my money, is the best Christmas movie ever made. There is no Muppets Christmas Carol anywhere on this list, Russell.
I don't do Muppets. I mean, I don't do Muppets in any walk of life, frankly, Van.
No.
No. No, I don't do Muppets, mate. But you think, where do you think that should be then in the list?
Muppets Christmas Carol. I would rank Muppets Christmas Carol pretty high. Muppets Christmas Carol would be my top 6 or 5 in my top 10. I think I have it down as my number 5.
Wow. Okay, so have you got your own list? Do you want to reveal what your top 10 is?
My top 10.
Or you could, or you could just criticise mine. I don't mind.
Well, no, I mean, I can criticise my own, to be fair. It's Christmas. It's an entirely subjective movie subgenre. It's like, what's your favourite slasher movie? There really aren't right or wrong answers. It's a matter of personal preference, yeah.
So what else would you put in?
Well, I'll give you my top 10 really quickly. Santa Claus, the movie from 1985.
Sorry, what order are these in? Are we going 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
10 to 1. We'll go 10 to 1. I'll start with Santa Claus, the movie from 1985, which is like, it's by the Soul Kinds who made the Superman sequels with Christopher Reeve, and they made Supergirl. Really trashy filmmakers. They were kind of the canon films ilk. Yep. They tried to make what was effectively Batman Begins for Santa. It's hilarious. You've got to see it. Yep. The Ref, nobody's ever seen The Ref. Stars Kevin Spacey and Dennis Leary. It's about a burglar who takes a bickering, divorcing couple hostage on Christmas Eve. It's amazing. We're seeing for Christine Baranski above all else. Very, very quotable. The Night Before. Yep. I'm going to give this my number 8. Sort of a stoner comedy, Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anthony Mackie, bunch of boys having their last Christmas Eve as, like, you know, before they have to sort of dedicate their lives to their families, etc.
How old is that film, Van?
That is from 2015, I believe, and it's still awesome. I watch it every year since 2015. It immediately took hold with me. It's a great movie. Number 7, I will give Krampus from, I think, 2016. Great Christmas horror movie. What if Santa, you know, according to the original legend, was evil? This is that movie.
It's about his twin, isn't it? About Krampus is Santa's twin or something? Isn't that what it's about?
No, it goes back to the original. It goes back to the original legend, and it's all tied into the Holocaust and things like that. We get evil gingerbread men. We get like demons.
Sounds very cheery for Christmas.
It's something alternative. I like it. It seems to have crowd appeal, which is the strangest thing about it. Yep. Number 6, I'm going to give to Better Watch Out, which is best described as, what if Home Alone's kid was more like Hannibal Lecter than John McClane?
You've got a very dark streak, Van. You've got a very dark streak, haven't you? Most of these films are dark and horrible, aren't they?
Well, you know, Christmas is not all sunshine and rainbows. As we'll find out, I'm going to go to the next one.
Did you have lots of bad Christmases as a child?
My dad did once cancel Christmas when I was a kid. It's kind
of showing. Next.
I'm going to give you A Muppet's Christmas Carol, which is, you know, a nice traditional, you know, it's an straight-up adaptation of Dickens's original text, played by Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge, who very famously said, I'm going to play this movie as if they ain't Muppets, and I'm in the Royal Shakespeare Company. Yeah. Forgive my terrible Michael Caine impression, obviously.
This is the man that was in Zulu, The Italian Job, and all sorts of other things. Surely a low point in his career.
No, not at all. First of all, this is some of the best acting Michael Caine, Oscar-nominated, Oscar-winning Michael Caine has ever turned out. He's in the Muppets movie. It's an amazing movie, genuinely. If you've not seen Muppets Christmas Carol, it's on Disney+. There's an extended version now. Check it out. Number 4 is in cinemas now, Violent Night. It's Die Hard with actual Santa, and he's David Harbour from Stranger Things. You've got to see this.
Another dark movie, Van. Another dark movie. Okay.
It's fun. It's cheerful. However, I'm going to talk about Elf next. Don't worry, Elf is my number 3. We both seem to like Elf. Will Ferrell.
Is this the only one in your list that matches my list? I think it is.
I don't know. We both have Die Hard, except I have it as number 1. Spoiler alert. You know,
okay.
Greatest Christmas movie ever made. I mean, there's no argument there. However, of course, we can't talk about that yet. Elf. Amazing movie. Will Ferrell, born for that role. I watch it every Christmas. It's my sister's favourite movie. It's my nephew's favourite movie. Everybody I know loves Elf. Number 2,
actually, Van, do you think, just to make a political point, that film wouldn't be made now because it would be seen to be criticising and mocking people of small stature?
No, not at all. I think the movie plays it rather well. The movie plays it in almost like the way that The Hobbit just plays physical stature as just a statement of fantasy reality. But I bet
Elf ends up in the next few months and years with one of those stupid Disney warning stickers on it that says, you know, this is a film of a previous time, and please be warned and take caution when watching it that it does not reflect the views of modern society.
Also, Christmas does not intentionally endorse Asda specifically, if we're going down that route.
Or Coca-Cola, for that matter. What's next? Exactly. What's your number? Where are we? Number 2?
My number two is, I think this is just so iconic. In fact, Violent Night references this movie as well.
Here you go again. Here you go again. Okay.
Recently, Spirited with Will Ferrell, his attempt to recapture the magic of Elf, did also reference this movie. They call it, quote, that Bill Murray movie. They mean, of course, Scrooge, 1988, Richard Donner directed adaptation and reworking, a contemporary reworking for the late 80s.
That's a great film. That is a great film.
Of A Christmas Carol.
I'm with you on
It's great,
that.
isn't it? It's of the time. It's the Wall Street generation's Christmas Carol.
Yep, I'm with you. So, and then where are we? Number one is?
Number one for me is your number 8, I believe.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yeah, but probably the most contentious for most people. So many people say it is not a Christmas movie. I mean, maybe because there isn't actually a Santa in it and there's no snow. To me, it's a film that plays at Christmas, and it's based on an event, a party, isn't it? At whatever the name of that tower is that's very famous and escapes me. That is set on Christmas Eve, right? So it qualifies.
Well, first of all, it's Nakatomi Tower.
Nakatomi, that's the one.
I feel bad for you not knowing that, because obviously you don't love Die Hard
I'm
on
embarrassed.
the fundamental cellular level that I do, and so many other people, it seems, do. I hosted a screening of it this week, no joke. So, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I can give you this on multiple levels.
So,
first of all,
justify
it was written by its original writers. And remember, this was written in the mid-80s. It was written on the proviso that if they made it a Christmas movie, they would get the residuals when it was shown on TV every Christmas, like clockwork.
Yep.
So on a really cynical level, it's a Christmas movie. However, it is also the story of a blue-collar worker having to strive against the odds to take on the literal embodiment of capitalism, Hans Gruber, in order to reunite with his family.
Which is
for
Alan
Christmas.
Rickman, right? The late Alan Rickman. What a brilliant actor, but brilliant in this as well. Less could be said of Bruce Willis, though, and his rather questionable roles and choices of role in recent years compared to the Die Hard movies. I mean, he's really kind of lost his way. I think it's where actors become producers, isn't it? And so they come up with an idea and they produce their own film and therefore act in it. But yeah, his last few movies, Bruce Willis, definitely not his finest hours, that's for sure. Talk to me very quickly about Christmas TV tomorrow as well. So I was on this show yesterday criticising this and the fact that the BBC in particular has pretty much a load of rubbish on. Would you agree?
I will agree that the TV schedule this Christmas has been pretty awful, if I'm being honest. I mean, Christmas Day this year, I think I literally wound up recommending Scrooge, like the 1951 Scrooge. There was just a lack of options. It's a very... it does seem like someone in the programming department needs a talking to, because the Freeview movie picks for the last year in the UK, and no one really talks about this, but the Freeview movie picks in general have been going rather wildly down the pan for about a year now.
The BBC has definitely lost its way, and we're paying £3-something billion for it. We've got more Mrs. Brown Boys tomorrow night. I definitely won't be watching that. I'd rather throw my television out of a first-floor window, frankly. Van, thank you very much indeed. That was brilliant. I think, yeah, look, the fact that there was a bit of a match-up, 3 or 4 of mine against 3 or 4 of his, we kind of came up with what I think is a reasonable kind of top 15 or thereabouts.